Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a lovely week on this fine Wednesday. This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with David, the Indie Report with David L. Rhodes and Jeffrey Johnson. Jeff, how you doing, my man?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there, man.
We'll definitely get into that today because both of us are hanging in there. We'll talk about ledges and things of the sort as we go. But let me go through this intro. Welcome to episode 557 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU's athletic programs and the business of HBCU pro sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, along with my co-host, Jeffrey Johnson. We're filming from our home studios and sending the signal live to KCOH 12:30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. So how's your week going so far, man?
All right, so my week so far is going actually better than it was this weekend. So this is something I'm definitely looking forward to distance myself from the debacle that we had on Saturday evening.
Oh, fair enough. I will say for me, I'm getting ready to pack up. I'm heading to Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to Alabama State's homecoming this weekend.
Really?
I'm leaving tomorrow. We could talk about that game if you like. We've got some time.
Oh yeah. I love their campus and I love their stadium too.
Yeah, that's why I picked it, because their facilities look top notch. So I wanted to check it out for myself and things of that sort. And I wanted to go to. This is gonna be my first SWAC homecoming, man. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, the teams are not top notch, but yeah, awesome.
I mean, they're playing FAMU, so they're getting a good one.
For their facilities that they have, they should be winning.
But they had injuries, man. Alabama State had injuries.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's going on. All right, outside of the independents, outside of Tennessee State, A&T, and Hampton, what was a game that fascinated you over the weekend?
Grambling State losing to Prairie View. And I said, okay, they got this one. And the fact that they gave that game up to 5 overtimes to Prairie View, that was probably one of the best games I've seen probably so far this year. So that just Miles Crawley, 29 for 48, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, but just couldn't pull it out. So that to me just it's emblematic of what SWAC is. A lot of offense. High drama, and it's always at the end either a missed field goal or a small error that pretty much lost them the game. And I was pulling for Grambling, but Prairie View, they actually showed me something.
Here's the thing that made it fascinating for me in regard to that game, right? The big thing for me was Prairie View, if they didn't win that game, they would have been 0-3 in conference.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much a death wish, particularly in the SWAC West. And my nickname for the SWAC West is Chaos, because you never know who's going to come out of that.
True.
Like, nobody can figure out the SWAC West. We have absolutely no idea who's going to come out of the SWAC West. So it'll be fascinating to see that go down the road, how that comes down the stretch, to say the least. The game I'm looked at, man, the game I watched this weekend, man, because just like you, I have Flow Sports. Delaware State and Campbell.
Hey, I'm gonna let you go, but I was surprised how well Delaware State played Campbell.
They're going to stop.
Yeah.
That school down the road or Howard from winning the MEAC.
You think so?
They're going to stop one of them. One of them is going to get clipped by them.
Yeah. Okay.
One of them is going to get clipped by them. I believe that's going to happen. Now the most unfortunate thing about that game, man, is because the only thing that Delaware State's got a quarterback. Marquis Adams is the real deal.
Yes.
He is the real deal.
Yes.
They don't have a defense though, and Campbell knew that at the end. Yeah. For those who didn't watch the game, Campbell let them score with less than 2 minutes to go, so they could score because they knew they could score. Yep. If the running back would have just slid at the 1, they probably could have milked the clock out, kicked the field goal, and went home with a victory. But that's the way it happens sometimes. But that was an outstanding game to watch. But it also shows that Delaware State is not going to be a pushover in the conference like they were last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not going to be a pushover. So I think if like about the scheduling for their homecomings, y'all gonna get a much better game than y'all thought y'all were gonna get for homecoming this year.
You know what? Delaware State always kind of pulls this, like every 10 or so years, they would have a legit program. I remember under Al Levon, they were perennial monsters, in the MEAC, But Marquis Adams, though, man, he threw for 252 yards, 4 TDs. And I'm sitting here like, where has this guy been, man? So, definitely impressed.
Absolutely, man. I like watching them, man. I watched them when they played Hawaii. Marquis is so good, man.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. And I'm like, meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, well, I need that. I need that in Greensboro.
Yeah, 6'1", 190 pounds, out of Philly. So he's probably definitely overlooked, coming out of that. Because Philly's not really a hotbed for football players. So, Delaware State definitely got him. And he's a redshirt sophomore, too. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I got a question in the chat from Lennon, a member, I believe he's a member of the alumnus of Norfolk State, if I recall. I'm afraid to put this up here, but you'll get a good laugh out of that at least.
What do you say?
Who's the worst coach? That's hard, bro.
Oh.
And I wouldn't even. And honestly, I don't think I would put Carnell. I wouldn't put Maynard.
No, I would definitely wouldn't put Carnell Maynard because I think Carnell Maynard, he's just good on one side of the ball. I wouldn't call him a head coach. He's more of like a coordinator guy.
Yeah.
But, I would never put that in there. Dawson Odoms has had success at Southern, so yes. I think Norfolk State is a coaching graveyard, So I wouldn't put that on there. Vincent Brown, look, man, I'm gonna keep my Vincent Brown jokes later. But
I know you will.
Like I would like to add a name. It definitely wouldn't be Vincent Brown. I would also say Stump Mitchell from Southern University. He was bad. So
they're talking about the current ones now because
none of those guys I would call really bad. Now Brown, on the other hand, I would say he's probably the most unqualified of that group.
That might be fair.
Yeah. But hold on, he's been coaching for years, so he's never been.
He's never been a head coach. I mean, this is his first forte as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
So I when we talk about the A&T game, I'll bring my thoughts about everything regarding that. Woody hasn't won a game yet though, and he lost it, and they lost to Clark. So I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean.
Odoms has shown he's been capable. He just hasn't been able to get it right in Norfolk.
I think it's like, okay, Latrell Scott was the head coach at Virginia State and did really well in the CIAA. He made that. He's a heck of a coach because he coached at Richmond. He was somewhat successful there, and he goes over to Virginia State after. You don't go from Richmond to Virginia State, but something happened. But he's better at it now. He's fine. But the thing was, he was a capable head coach. He goes to Norfolk State, and the best he got him there was 6-5. And and they thought he was terrible. And now you see even Dawson Odoms, who I would say he's had some very good years at Southern University, and he left. And I figured he probably thought that with my coaching acumen and what I can do, I can go to Norfolk State and turn it around. And I just think Norfolk State's just stuck in where they want to be. So yeah, I would still go with Woody, but I just don't think I would never call him a bad coach. I just think that hasn't figured out how to win yet.
Yeah, it reminds me of another coach. All right, so now let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we'll go over the independent games that happened over Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we'll be right back after this break.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The CAVIL Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call CAVIL.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the Indie Report with David L. Rhodes and Jeffrey Johnson. All right, this is the painful part of the show. All right, we'll start with the positive because one of the independents actually did pull out a win this weekend, and I said last week they have to beat these guys, and they did what they needed to do. Tennessee State defeated Charleston Southern in conference play 13-9. Didn't really get to watch too much of this game. One thing I'll say, Ellis did not play that well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he only had 50% passing, but they did what they had to do. I was kind of shocked that the score was as low scoring as it was against Charleston Southern, because Charleston Southern is really not that good of a team in the Big South OVC.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played that well at all.
Yeah.
So but Eddie George and his crew was able to pull it out. Do you have any thoughts on the game?
Well, we went up against Charleston Southern a couple times, in the Big South, and they always struck me as a very good defensive team, horrible at offense. And I think they had Arthur Jensen as the head coach then. And, now they let him go after I would say he was pretty bad there. But just watching, I did watch a few moments of the game. It was a horrible first half. It was 7-6 at the half. And Draylon Ellis, he only had 105 yards. And it was just more of a defensive slugfest. And, just the fact that they had 2 field goals at the end of the game to basically to solidify the game. But for the most part, I mean, Tennessee State to me is much more capable than what they put out there. So
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like, okay, everybody gets one bad game. And the fact that they won their bad game was, I would say, good for them.
Yeah, I thought their bad game was the week prior against Tennessee Tech, but shout out. But then again, shout out to Zach from the Blue Bloods because he informed me that Tennessee Tech is a much improved team.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for that.
And it was raining. We forgot about that. The weather wasn't conducive for football. So
that's football. That's football weather, man. Raining is football weather.
But you can't really pass like that. So from what I thought, it was just more of it's ugly. And Charleston Southern isn't really their stadium ain't really. It's a nice stadium. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, they're one of the final 2 Big South teams that play football in that conference. Fun fact for you guys: it's just them and Gardner Webb right now, and the rest of the teams that are in that Big South OVC combination, they're all in the OVC.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who else left there? Brian. Oh
God. Well, Bryant was only there for like a year.
Yeah, there.
Bryant. Yeah, you had Bryant. You had Monmouth was in there. North Alabama was in there. Kennesaw State was in there. We were there. Y'all were there. Like after that last round. And Campbell. Forgot about Campbell. Campbell was in that conference.
They're depleted then.
Yeah. They gotta have the Big South OVC thing for football so they can keep the
gotcha.
the playoff bid.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. So William and Mary and Hampton played over the weekend, and William and Mary prevailed 49-7. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. The smoothest 49-7 game I've ever watched. I kid you not, man. Like, it was just so smooth, and it wasn't like it was just we're gonna do what we do. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And in my head, I'm thinking, and I watched the game and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is rough. Because I thought y'all were big. I feel like you guys are one of the bigger in the trenches up front than most HBCUs. So I thought you guys would probably be more formidable against William A. I didn't expect y'all to win, but I thought y'all would be more formidable against them.
Yeah, no. I would say that we kind of knew this was coming. And because we've seen some of these kids who are on the offensive line for, I would say, a couple of years since they've been there. And we knew that our defense will definitely come to play. But our offensive line had to play well enough to keep them energized. So the very first series that William and Mary was on offense, we recovered a fumble. Crowd energized. Yeah, there we go. And Zealous, our starting quarterback, who moonlights as a quarterback who's really a running back /
I know how you feel about him.
Literally comes out there and the offensive coordinator has him throw a pass, and he's promptly intercepted. And it was just such a buzzkill early. Now, but I will say this though, that very first drive of offensive half, we ran down. That was a 75-yard just monster of a drive, and we scored and we're up 7-0. And it was all running. It was all running, bootlegs, a lot of little read options, couple of quick little 5-yard passes, nothing that goes past the line, just all safe stuff. And so we felt, okay, we got a chance. And then I would say that was in first gear that we had, and William and Mary went into 6 gears, and they promptly, I would say, just like every possession was a touchdown. And I think for us, like our offensive line, we knew that, okay, through Howard, they opened up big holes for Jaquan Snipes and for Elijah Burris, but we know William and Mary, if you look at their defensive line, you're like, okay, they have size, but they weren't, I would say, as as big as any of the other teams we played. Some of them were actually even smaller, but the problem was the technique. And I would say some of the coaching acumen that we saw from the Tribe, and there's a reason why they are ranked 11th in the country.
Yep.
They did things that we have not seen. They're tight ends, just like what we always say. And the difference between the CAA from the MEAC is that they utilize every single player.
They do, man.
Really. They're tight ends on bootlegs, tight ends on screens, tight ends blocking, tight ends going up the seams, tight ends on 40-yard catches. It's like, I just do not understand, and this has always been in the MEAC. They use players differently. You know, I always, and it's not a knock at what our current coaching staff is doing, but at the same time, it was more like I would say, they actually get coaches in here who think and could find new ways to get the best out of players. That was one. Second thing I would just definitely say was that before the game, some of our players were chirping on local TV. And if you, the Wavy 10, the Wavy 10, I think WVEC 13, some of the players went on, had a press conference and said, "Oh, it's going to be personal for us. It's personal." Okay. Like, we've never beaten Cincinnati. Like, you're giving these young men ammunition at Zabel Stadium. It's not like they come into Armstrong. It's personal. Like, you lost like, okay, we were up 10-7 in the fourth quarter, and it was that one mistake by the quarterback who can't throw. The one mistake where he checked off to a read option play where there was a defender that was on both him and the actual running back, and he promptly fumbled, and they just took the ball and promptly scored. Game was over. And they kept scoring, and it just killed the momentum. But the thing was, it's like, if you have never beaten this program and you kind of feel that you're not, I would say, up to par with them, do not talk junk before the game. And it was apparent that our young men were eating crow the whole game. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough one. It was a tough one to watch. William & Mary is so good. They ran for over 400 yards, man. Yep. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And they're on our schedule too. We got them too. They come to Greensboro.
Yeah. And this is the wild thing. Chris Dellis, 6-14, 44 yards passed. Longest pass is 11 yards. And our supposed passer, the other quarterback, Malcolm Mays, 40 yards. And so total for two quarterbacks, 84 yards. I will give our Trent Boykin credit. He tried to minimize our biggest weakness, which was the fact that we have one quarterback, Chris Rosellis, who can't throw, but he's pretty good at read option. Yeah, he did some really good things with running the ball. He kept doing that. That was the main thing. He kept it the main thing. But once you're a one-trick pony, then they know that you're not going to throw the ball. So the majority of the coverages that he saw with William & Mary were just guys just hanging around the front line. And it was just, there was nothing there to back them up. And I felt horrible for the receivers because all they're doing was just run blocking the whole game.
Yeah, man. It was a rough one for me to watch. And I don't want to keep beating you up about it because I got my own game to beat myself up about. A&T played one of their rivals, South Carolina State, over the weekend in Orangeburg. We the second of three road games that we got coming on the slate. And we lost 25-45 to South Carolina State. We had a 7-game winning streak against South Carolina State that was snapped after that. Overall, man, A&T has a lot of injuries right now. I don't want to give them excuses, but they were down there starting quarterback. They were down there starting their top two running backs. So they did have the effort. They had a lot of adversity going into the game and things of that sort with regards to their hotel the night prior. because of everything that happened with Hurricane Helene. But either way, they did come to play. They did come to play well with adversity. I just think they ran out of gas at the end. Third quarter, man, they were up 17-10, and then South Carolina State bolted 28 consecutive points on us.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, it was, and it was it was bad. And the thing is, we've given up. A&T has given up over 500 yards of offense. Every week, every game against a Division I opponent.
You know what? No, this is my thing. Vincent Brown's specialty is defense.
Yeah,
and
man.
If you cannot get it together on your side of the ball, I can understand offense, but if you can't get it together on your side of the ball, that to me kind of just screams that okay, something is ineffective here.
Well, here's the dilemma. So, and this is the thing that I'm a gatherer of information. I take a comment here, I take a comment there, and I just gather information. So over the time of gathering information, here's what we've learned. Vincent Brown was hired because of what he did because of the fact that he was a defensive coordinator and assistant head coach at William & Mary. He hired somebody to be his defensive coordinator at A&T.
Sure.
And told him that he can run whatever scheme he wanted. Run the scheme that he wants to run. So now I'm like, well, we hired you because of your defensive prowess. And I don't have an issue with head coaches delegating because you're the CEO. So I understand you probably don't have the bandwidth to do everything you need to do. But I would have thought that you would have ran what you similarly ran while you was at William & Mary. And it doesn't seem that's the case. They're running a 3-4, but there's more to it than that. And they're not necessarily running like a pure 3-4, so to speak. But I think that's like the kicker for me, right? Like we know, like, and the thing is, you think about what happened last year and the talent that you had on this roster last year. There was some pretty good talent that, like, I think our secondary, A&T secondary, is probably one of the best in HBCU football.
Yeah. Oh, I give you that.
I believe that our front seven, particularly our front four, not exactly our strong suit right now, right?
Sure.
But we have players that have the boat. Don't know why they're not playing. But we also do have a lot of injuries, right?
Sure.
We just found out that Todd Williams, our starting safety, is out for the season.
Yeah.
So we have injuries, and we've had some players that we've had in for transfers that haven't really played for us yet. Dingle Prince, one of the guys up front, that was supposed to be a big factor. He hasn't played since the Wake Forest game. Cam Maddox, somebody in the secondary, another that's a joker. He hasn't played really. So we've had some transfers that with legitimate experience that really hasn't played. So it could be a personnel issue as well. But when you talk about all the injuries that we've had over the past first couple of weeks of the season, and now we're about to get into the heart of CAA play. Like we're about to get into the skinny of it. I'm concerned that things aren't going to get better. And we're going to get into the games that are going to come up for both of us and Tennessee State. But it's just I'm more concerned about what we've seen so far, because I feel like the team has regressed instead of progressed year over year. Like I'm happy that we're not on a streak of not throwing for 100 yards, but now we're on a streak of where we're giving up 500 yards a game.
True.
Every Division I opponent we've played, we've given up at least 40 points. So now we don't have Winston-Salem State on our schedule anymore. We have to. We got it. And I think, and the thing is, for me, it's hard for me to put it on the players because I think the players are out there trying to play. You know what I'm saying? They're out here trying to play. They're putting forth the effort to play. But it comes down to making sure that the coaches make sure they put those guys in the best situation to succeed. And I sometimes question that that's happening.
No, absolutely. Definitely agree with you on that. My whole thing is we would have seen it by now. It's like if a quarterback gets drafted and, this is like year 2 or year 3, we would have seen those flashes. My thing is we have not seen those flashes yet from Brown. And
I think I've seen more last year than this year. And that's the scary part. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I felt like last year we were in a lot of games last year. Like I think we were like literally 3 fumbles away from 3 wins last year. Like I've seen, like I seen it last year. And our running back, our Virginia Tech transfer, Kenji Christian, might be out for the season. Right. So Wesley Graves is out for the season.
So now the question is, what is he doing at practice? Is he running those kids into the ground? Is he the David Six of HBCU sports? So,
I don't know. I don't know. And the thing is, so we got these games coming up. Like the next time we play at home is GHO.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, we got Richmond next week. We got Richmond this Saturday.
Yeah.
Then we got a bye. Then we got GHO. So I think something needs to happen during the bye.
Yeah.
Don't know what, but we'll figure that out.
And you got a bunch of angry Hamptonians too that are coming because.
Man. Well, I mean, but the difference between you guys and us is that right now you have an interim head coach. A decision can be made at the end. To decide what you want to do.
Oh, it's already. Let me stop.
No, don't do that.
No. It ain't too soon. But I'll just say it like this: you guys, in your ticket allotment that you gave to us, y'all were wrong for that. So, but
how much would he give? How much?
I can't tell you because
we'll go off the record. We'll talk off the record.
Yeah. Wrong.
But all right, I think I'm done with my torture. Unless you have any more questions before we go.
I would just say this is I kind of felt like Vincent Brown reminds me of that movie Catch Me If You Can, Frank Abagnale. It's like the fact that when I just heard that you said this man hired any guy and just said run any program that you want. Like, no, it
was somebody that he knows. It was somebody that he knew.
You can't do that. It's like a person, like if you are a NFL player and you got your homeboy, hey man, I'm gonna give you some money, open up a business. No, you don't do that. You do not do that. That's reckless if you have. That's very reckless.
I mean, I understand it's about it boils down to bandwidth and things of that sort. So we'll see what happens this upcoming week. Against Richmond, and when we return from the break, we will go over the upcoming games for us next week because I got some stories to tell about some of them. So we'll be right back right after the break.
Yeah.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry. Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it. Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. David L. Rhodes and Jeffrey Johnson. All right, man. We got some games this weekend. I don't even know who Tennessee State plays this weekend.
Oh, I had it up just a minute ago. I took it there.
I can pull it up real fast, but we'll start with A&T and Richmond. Listen, man. Listen, all right. We got to go to Richmond for this one. And unfortunately, we're 30-point underdogs against them.
Oh God.
Yeah, so I'm they're a good football team. I think they're ranked in one of the polls. They're not ranked in both.
Yeah, they're 3-2.
Yeah, they're 3-2. I think they've actually had some challenges defensively.
Yeah.
So I think that would probably be an opportunity to try to keep this thing close, but I'm more concerned about the fact because of all the injuries that we just got to heal up. And now, even though we do already have a few players that are already out for the season, but I think some of the players that's been gone for a few weeks that can come back. We need the players back. But I wouldn't be shocked if they make the decision to go ahead and sit those guys another week, because the following week is a bye week.
Yeah.
And they just try to run with the guys that they have. The Richmond coach, he's been there for a while. Those guys know the system. They understand the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much clockwork. This is their final year in the CAA.
Yeah.
They're heading to the Patriot League after this.
Not understanding that, but
I have my theories if you want to get into it for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, cause trust me. Yeah. I know, yeah, we can definitely get into
there's one side of the theory, right? But the other side of the theory is I question whether or not they're serious about football anymore. I think they want to cut the cost.
Yeah. So that was and that actually was spoken up high in I would say the HBCU sphere. And so that came up actually more than the other.
Yeah. I think they've made a decision that it might not be their priority. They can probably focus on basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a show tonight. I do a show on the HBCU Nightly Network called MD, and we're going to discuss some of this stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit in length a little bit tonight with all the things going on with the NCAA.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you talk about when you have the discussion point about what my expectation is, I want those guys to compete. That's all I want. I think I want them to compete for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
I've seen them compete for 4 quarters in maybe 2 games.
Yeah. That's what Winston-Salem State.
I would say they probably competed harder on against Wake than any other game outside of that.
Yeah, one of the obviously the earlier games. So I will say this about Richmond though. What's that kid name? Zach Palmer Smith. Good God Almighty! Like he put up 24 rushing attempts, 168 yards. Again, I know it was Long Island, but that kid's a straight up beast, man. And I always felt that Richmond, they always have good size on the offensive line. They're not really a finesse program or finesse team. They're a definite a ground and pound, get a guy in the hole and just one day he always gets those one cut type of running backs or those power backs. So we beat them last year because our team last year was more suited for their style of football. But I know they're coming back. And they cannot wait to do the same thing that we did to them at Armstrong. So,
well, the thing that's fascinating because we were having that discussion because you guys beat them and Morgan beat them as well.
Yeah.
And the thing that when they came to Greensboro to play us, they beat the brakes off of us. It wasn't about 30, but they beat it. They pretty much dominated that game. But the biggest difference I tried to explain to folks was that they were still trying to figure out their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
They played you guys and when they played Morgan. Yeah. By the time they got to us, they found their quarterback and we got to see him live and in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think this team here is a little bit more ready.
Yeah.
I had William and Mary winning the conference because of the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
But wouldn't be shocked if Richmond wins it. Delaware can't go to the playoffs, so
yeah. I'm not going to say I'm shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if. Well, I'm looking at their schedule too. They're playing Bryant, Towson, Campbell.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I can say us because we're considered a weak league.
You're the pod.
Yeah,
you're part of their pod. So
we're the Vanderbilt of the conference. So, and they already beat Elon, so I think that was a big test for them. So, I do think they definitely have a good shot. It's going to definitely come down to that William & Mary game, the last game of the season for both programs. So, we'll see.
Yeah, man. So I like I said, I just want my boys to compete tomorrow. I want my boys to compete on Saturday. Like I'm gonna probably watch the replay Sunday morning.
Yeah,
because I'll be at Alabama A&M and Alabama State and FAMU. That weekend. So all right, man. So now you guys get to play Rhode Island, and I've seen Rhode Island play football before. I went to the game when they played A&T last year. So.
Yeah, I will say this: Rhode Island, they employ the same quarterback system that we have. We have two quarterbacks that they sub in and out. They have good size on both sides of the ball. They have a 5'9", 180-pound running back, and that dude is fierce, man. That kid, what's that kid's name? Oh God, I hate it when you Malik Grant. But that kid right there, man. Oh, jeez. And my son is joining me on the podcast.
It's fine. Mine has showed up on a show or two.
I will get you a sandwich in a moment. Have a seat. Lord mercy. But so I will say this. Rhode Island, Malik Grant, is an absolute stud. He's a small guy, and it's always hard to tackle. He had 143 yards to get to the last opponent, Long Island. And the thing is, Rhode Island, if you look at their offensive line, they're averaging 6'5", 6'7", a bunch of guys, and we average the same size too. But the difference is, they know how to get those guys in space. Mm-hmm. So and if you want to, I would just say take a snapshot of what our programs are compared to theirs. Hampton's football program in Rhode Island are built the same way. Two quarterbacks that are not really passers, but are more kind of read option kind of guys that can run. They can throw. They can throw. I would say at the line of scrimmage, a couple slants here and there. But the offensive line and similar offensive lines, big guys. But the difference is those guys can play in space. So if you notice that the same way what William & Mary was doing, they did a ton of counter plays, a ton of rollout plays where you would see that guard out there leading the screen. That normally, if we did that, our guard was huffing puffing just to get out there, whereas their guys already out there and they're creating all kinds of lanes. So Rhode Island will definitely be a tough out for us. And I think the thing is our offense has to generate some offense because the thing is our defensive line is, we haven't had a good defensive line in a while. And the fact of the matter is they're good enough to, if you let them get some rest, they can get some stops for you or some turnovers, and it can help the offense. But the fact of the matter is it is hard to get an offense, I would say, going when you have one quarterback is the passer, and that's Malcolm Hayes. But Malcolm Hayes, I would say, kind of feels like he has a confidence issue where he's unsure where to go, where to throw the ball, or what is he doing. And it's like, I'm about to get yanked. And Christopher Zealous is a cocksure thrower, but majority of the time either it's out of bounds or to the other program. So I feel that if Hampton has to play a lights out game on the ground and limit turnovers, we'll be okay. But for the most part, I just think we're going to struggle.
They're coming to y'all, right?
I think, matter of fact,
I think they're coming to you. I believe they're coming to y'all.
Yeah, they're coming to us. Yeah.
Okay, so that should be, it's a good trip for them. That's a plane ride for them.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting one. Now, as for the last game, Tennessee State is playing Lindenwood. This is another one of those.
Ooh, yeah.
Should be able to get this one.
Yeah.
You know, Lindenwood's 2-3, Tennessee State's 3-2.
Yeah.
Should be able to get this one. It'll be interesting to see. Like, a lot of folks thought that Tennessee State had a legitimate shot to win the conference this year.
Yeah.
Then they kind of didn't. They laid the egg against Tennessee Tech. But they still but they still are in the race. The path is there for them to get there. So I have Tennessee State beating Lindenwood this weekend.
Yeah.
I think you can take Rhode Island, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
I think you guys. I think Campbell did okay neutralizing that running back.
Yeah.
Campbell's defense ain't that good either.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think you guys have a shot to beat these guys.
Yeah.
Particularly because it's at home. I think you guys have a shot. I don't think it's gonna be what we saw last week.
Yeah.
I don't. All right.
William and Mary, they're the 11th ranked team. So I definitely feel that. Yeah, absolutely. And we're playing at home. So
I think you guys can. I think you guys have a shot. I don't think A&T has a shot this weekend. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
We got to go to Richmond. We've struggled against them historically. We lost to them in the playoffs. We lost to them. Now, granted, we were on our backup quarterback when we played them in the playoffs a few years back.
Yeah.
We lost to them in last year.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I said, I'm just looking for effort, but I think you guys could pull that upset, and our Tennessee State should be able to beat Lindenwood.
Yeah, I definitely feel that Tennessee State will definitely beat Lindenwood, just based upon looking at Lindenwood's. They lost to they had some beat downs. Oh, good God Almighty.
Fun before we go to break, I'm gonna give you a quick fun fact about Rhode Island and their stadium. So Rhode Island, their stadium is connected to the basketball arena.
What?
So like the way it's pretty awesome, because the beauty of it is when it's cold, you can walk into the arena. You can walk into the walkway and warm up. Because remember, it's Rhode Island, man. I live here.
Oh yeah, I see. I'm looking at it now. Yeah,
so they have bleachers connected to one side of the field, and then you can walk all the way around to the other side of the field. So a portion of it is connected. So luckily, when we went to the game, we got seats on that side. So we could go back into the arena, buy something, buy a drink, do what we want to do, and come back down to the stands. So it was a pretty good setup. I didn't even, and then somebody who used to go to Vincent Ryerson a lot when I was younger, when I first moved up here, I was kind of stunned to notice that the football stadium is literally connected to it.
Yeah.
So we got to take this last break, and when we'll come back, we'll close out the show, and that'll be that. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find a break. There we go.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money, so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero in a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mister, this script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true.
Gotta get the corners.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted CAVIL'S voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. CAVIL'S Voice, CAVIL'S Voice, CAVIL'sVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head and Shoulder Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working.
Never not working. Never ever not working. Head and Shoulder Scalp Shield, never not working.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with David L. Rhodes and Jeffrey Johnson. I want to show you something, sir, to close out the show, because we didn't go over the top 7, so I'm about to pull this up for you. And then we're going to do the outro and close this thing out. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I wanted to bring this up for you. All right, man, look at here. Here's the new top 7 that Dr. Cavil unveiled on Sunday. Now he unveils the major division HBCU football poll rankings on Sunday. Your Pirates fell to 3, man. But that's kind of expected considering what happened the day before.
Yeah.
Before these were unveiled. I'm not a fan of the team that's number 1, but I can't be too angry about that team being number 1.
Yeah.
FAMU, man. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to Alabama State's homecoming this weekend, so I'll be at FAMU versus Alabama State. FAMU hasn't played in a few weeks, and they haven't won in a few weeks either. They haven't won in a while.
Well, those are the money games, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. It's just interesting because it's been 3 weeks since they played, if I recall, if my number, at least 3.
Yeah.
Besides, and it's been a while since they've won a game because of the money games too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Like, we always have those discussions about the Celebration Bowl, about one conference getting more rest than the other.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what they look like with all this rest, because there's another R word that's a factor, and it's called rust. I think the rust is going to keep. I think the rust is going to keep Alabama A&M, Alabama State close in this game. I think the rust is going to help them with regards to that.
Sure.
I think the loss with Grambling losing to Prairie View, warranted the fall. Tennessee State, man, I'm not mad at them being top 5.
Yeah.
Jackson, same thing. I'm not mad at them being top 5. South Carolina State being at 7 is fascinating.
Yeah.
I think Delaware State would have been there if they would have closed out the game against Campbell. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I'm not mad at the top 7 right here. I know some folks will probably feel away. What are your thoughts?
I'm definitely not mad. I think that and I hate to say it, I think Hampton probably needs to move down a little bit more. I would put Jackson State upward at the 3rd position. I would move Florida A&M down another 2 slots, and I'll put South Carolina State, and surprisingly, I would definitely have Delaware State in there. I do think that they did find lightning in the bottle with Adams, and my only concern is if they can actually keep up that momentum, because Delaware State's Delaware State. They've always had that one player, but if they surround them with pieces, then I think that they would be, I would say, very effective within the MEAC. Florida A&M, I do agree they are rusty. I do think I love what Colsey is doing down there at FAMU. So I trust him a little bit more than I trust Robinson over at Alabama State. I think that Robinson sometimes gets a little bit emotional. And so I just think it's going to be business for FAMU just to go down into Alabama State's homecoming. So, but yeah, Central to me is the runaway favorite, the runaway top dog. And I don't think anybody wants to smoke with them.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now, man. Look, I can't. I mean, they dominated Norfolk State.
Yeah.
They dominated them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't be mad at that. I can't, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like them. but you got to give credit where the credit is due. Like they're the best team in HBCU football right now. I think it's hard to debate otherwise. The only thing I question, and I'm curious because they play Campbell this week. So the only thing I want to know what happened with Elon, because Elon hasn't been playing that well since that game. So but because they really got ran off their own house in their own house against Elon. But other than that, I mean, they've looked like the best team in HBCU football.
Yeah.
Right? Other than that.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, we're gonna close out the show. Do the outro. Thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I'm David L. Rhodes. Shout out to the Dean of HBCU Sports, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, coming from Inside the Lab. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil Inside HBCU Sports Lab, and make sure you watch it with Mike Washington, with Dr. Kenyatta Cavil and Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on Sundays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And occasionally I pop my head in for the Sunday show. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow Dr. Kenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our Twitter handles are right here. Me, I'm Champ D1012, and we got Jeffrey Alpha for Jeffrey Johnson. They're already here on the ticker, so make sure you follow us as well. Make sure you follow the Inside HBCU Sports Lab Facebook channel and the Inside HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big and continue to move forward, and we will talk with you soon. Jeff?
I'm supposed to say it?
Yes, Jeff.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You got to text it to me, man.
I'm gonna get you. You gotta
text it to me.
I promise you. By the time we finish this show, we're gonna get this right. So I'll take care of it tonight.
Yeah.
Course, lecture, dismiss.
Dismiss. Okay.
All right.
All right. Course, lecture, dismiss. All right.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week, guys.
Peace.